Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. A happy Tuesday to everybody. Everybody hanging out on YouTube, everybody hanging out on Twitch, everybody on the road, listening on the radio. Maybe you're listening on the free Odyssey app. We thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We are rocking with you until noon, and then we'll hand off to D'Lo and Kenny. It's Super Bowl week, so no KC. It is Kenny just for this week. Kansas City, that's a whole thing. I'm trying to do a bit.
All right. I'm here for your bit.
Kenny's in on it, which is why I'm comfortable moving forward with it. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We have, speaking of the Super Bowl, we have some great sound from Media Day last night to play for you later. We have Andy Reid just openly talking about the betting markets. We have Brock Purdy talking about Taylor Swift. And we have Kyle Shanahan, half in the bag, talking about how good Brock Purdy is.
I love it. I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all of it.
It's incredible. I can't wait. Well, we also, Front Office Sports this morning dropped a podcast with Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman, and she fries the A's.
Well, they're easy to fry.
Just flambés them.
Yes.
From the mayor of the city that they're moving to.
Yes.
So we'll hear that sound as well. But of course, we've got to open up with the Kings 136-110 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. I have some takes on the offense and that you may or may not like, but that's why I like talking to you, James, because I know I'm not going to get a knee-jerk weird reaction, and you're either going to tell me I'm right or I'm wrong, and we can discuss it. That's why I like this show very much. But I don't want to talk about the offense first because, frankly, I didn't think the offense was that bad last night. I have some nitpicks that we'll talk about, but
okay.
Defensively, yikes.
Man, there are games where, as someone who's covered the NBA for years and years, I just give you a free pass. I do. Like, when it comes to a game, the 7th game of a 7-game road trip, you give it a shot. And if you got it, like, go for it, right? If you got it, and then by the mid-3rd quarter, you start to lose your legs, it's like, I understand. I'm not going to sit here and roast you. Not only was this the 7th game of a road trip, but it's the 3rd game in 4 nights because they had the back-to-back on Friday, Saturday, and then they play again on Monday. They're also stuck in a string of 3 games in 4 nights where, you realistically have played 4 and 6, and they just looked like they gave it their best shot, but the Cavs were just a little tiny step faster. They got wide open on the 3-point shot. The Kings weren't able to close out. The Kings didn't have their legs fully on the 3-point shot. I thought everything was going okay until you started to see just like the fatigue set in. And I get it. Kyle. It
was the Donovan Mitchell alley-oop off the backboard to himself. That was kind of the end of it. And Kevin Fippen on Twitter posted this from I'm blanking on the site.
Oh, I don't know.
Sacked on Royalty.
Oh, no. The King's Herald.
King's Herald. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's why I didn't want to say it because I knew that was wrong, but I was just going to say something so you could, from King's Herald. Thank you. Yes. Love Kevin. He tweeted, he was like, this felt like a back and forth game, but that felt like a fatality, like from Mortal Kombat. And that's, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell was holding like somebody's spine right then.
Oh,
like,
okay. That's graphic. No, but seriously, he does the move. I think it was on Herter where he just drop steps around him, throws the ball off the. It's like, man, that's the coolest play in basketball. That should be an automatic win.
I thought Herter. You're right. It should be an I-win play. I thought Herter was actually playing strong defense.
He's doing a nice job.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job, and then all of a sudden the ball goes up, and Herter looked like, oh, the ball went up.
Right.
As soon as he opened his hips,
boom,
Mitchell was gone. Like, oh no.
Yeah. And he had that big dunk on the pass from Evan Mobley and on the break.
Yeah.
That was, man.
Well, that's where you started to see just like the fade. And I'm okay with the fade on game 7, especially against a very good team that's rolling, that had won 13 out of 14, whatever it was. Like you're going to lose some of those games, and that's fine.
Yeah. The other thing that jumped out at me, the Cleveland outscored the Kings in the paint 48-40, but the Cavs had 31 fast break points, and the Kings only had 12 turnovers.
Yeah.
Oof.
That just tells you. It just tells you where they were. Yeah, where they were mentally, where they were physically. Yeah. I got it, and I did not think their offense was bad. what is Sabonis finish with just one of the craziest triple doubles of all time. But it's the 15 assists. His career high is 16. I thought for sure he was going to get there. He had 9 assists, 10 assists in the first half. And he was like pushing for it. You could see that there was a possibility. But then when the shots stopped falling and they stopped going to guys like Keegan Murray, I'm not quite sure what happened there. But like Keegan needs to speak up.
It felt like Sabonis last night passed up more layups to kick out for 3 than I've seen all year. And I know that that's in some cases that's the offense, right? Like that's something that the Warriors have done for a long time. The Rockets did it for a long time where, you know what? You have a maybe contested layup, but you can also swing it out and there's a wide open 3, nobody within 10 feet of the guy.
Yep.
And I get that that's the offense, but also like take a layup, dog. Like just go get.
Yeah, but you have to remember that a layup against that team is not a layup. So what you have to do against that specific team is you have to, once you're in position, then you have to go to work and shove whoever's defending you way under the basket because they have crazy long shot blockers. And so you have to clear out space. So a layup there, it takes an extra, bunch of energy there at the end to actually get to the rim and actually finish. So he had some nice, he did the dream fadeaway on the baseline.
That was not. He had a couple little jumpers. You love to see that.
Yep.
The Kings now 8-7 when Domantas Sabonis has a triple double. But here's the interesting trend. Remember we were talking about this the other day, and we are kind of like, not really sure what this portends, but they don't always. It feels like when a player has a triple double, the team should probably win, right? But you go look at the Nuggets, they have a worse winning percentage when Jokic has one. You look at the Mavs, they have a worse winning percent. The only one is
Luka.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they were a little better, but it was like 555 compared to 552. They're about the same. The only one is the Bucks, I think, are 4-1 when Giannis has one. But anyways, Sabonis, when he has a triple double with 22 or more points, the Kings are 5-1. And when he has 21 or fewer, they're 3-6.
Okay.
All of this comes back to everything to me comes back to like, dude, I need Domas to score the basketball.
It's funny because on the Kings Beat podcast, Sean Cunningham has always had this same exact.
God, I love Sean.
He does.
Sean's the best.
Fox 40, Sean Cunningham.
Yeah.
He's always had the same exact thought that Domas needs to average well over 20 a game and that he can. But the problem is you can see that that's not who he wants to be. It's not who he is as a player. And, I get it. I totally get it. Like you watch, he'll get a ball on the post and instead of going to work, his first move
backwards
is to take 2 steps out and go set a screen for someone to get him an easier shot.
He gets it up high, dribble handoff, sets the screen, rolls down, gets his ass into a defender on the low block, catches it, spins around, looks like, bro.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating because you'll see it. And it's not frustrating because he can't do it. It's what you just said. It's like, he's just not built like that.
Yeah,
but he needs to be.
Yeah, I
would like him to be.
I get it, but it's a mental thing that I don't know. Do you want him to be less selfish? And I know his teammates probably don't. His teammates love it, but the fact that he took 9 shots last night and that Keegan took 9 shots, come on, guys,
9 shots.
You need more. You need more than that. You
9
need to be
3 in the second half.
13 or 14 shots, and that's where he needs to be. Both of them need to be every single night. So, but look, that's what happens when Harrison Barnes decides to show back up. And that's what happens when Malik Monk starts to fire away. There aren't that many shots to go around. And, you want to bag, everyone wants to bag on the bench for not having a good game this last week. Well, when you start seeing the bench shoot 4 or 5 shots, those 4 or 5 shots are coming from the players that you typically want to shoot. So it's a little complicated, man.
I guess. I don't know.
He's an absolutely tremendous player, but
he is. There's maybe and this is where I have a tough time, because we saw their offense like take off and it was awesome last year, right?
Yeah.
And it ran into their first playoff series and the team adjusted and they didn't have a curveball, and okay, that's fine. It was year one, you move into year two. But the more I watch, it's like I think because they can do what they do offensively because they have one of two centers in the league, three centers in the league capable of doing what Sabonis does for their offense.
Yep.
I think he can do those things, but in a more impactful way where they're running things through him, where, hey, he's having opportunities to score, because I think he can be so much more effective. And at the end of the day, I get the points, the rebounds, assists. Okay, that's great. But at the end of the day, it's about putting the ball in the hoop. And he is way too good to be as passive as he is in that aspect of his game for me.
Okay. No, I get it, but I'll tell you that 15 assists at a minimum led to 30 points, but it was probably more like 36, 38 points.
Yeah, and that's why this is a bad example, because offensively I didn't think they were that bad last night.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw it. I mean, we saw it in the postseason where the shot's not, and we've seen it a lot of times this year, but where the shot's not falling, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
When his teammates shots, it's like, bro, you just go.
No,
but again, bad game to pick on this. It just kind of, last night there were a couple of plays, and maybe it's because of the Cavaliers' length that those plays really stood out. But there were just a couple of plays where I'm like, man, I would love to see him be more selfish.
Well, I definitely felt like the entire game that De'Aaron Fox was cognizant that there were shot blockers everywhere. That's why he didn't race to the basket all the time.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Kings didn't have any free throws at all, and what little free throws they got, like 4 of their free throws came in scrub time late, like in the last 3 minutes.
They had 7 free throws in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And 4 of those were like Chris Duarte, and there was some Kessler Edwards or someone else.
Colby Jones.
There we
missed both.
Yeah. You're a guy, Colby, though, man. Talk about a guy who knows how to impact a game. Like I love watching him play.
Dude, he knows what he's doing.
I need to see
a great feel.
Whole lot more of him. He's one of those guys that races underneath the basket and steals a ball from somebody who grabs a rebound, which happened to Domas 3 times by Max Strus last night. 3 times he got a rebound and Max Strus came around, grabbed the ball from him, and scored a bucket.
Max Strus, such a pain in the ass.
I liked him.
He's such a pain.
Yeah.
He's just that guy where you're like, okay, well, it's just Max Strus, and all of a sudden he's got
boom,
2 steals, he's hit 4 threes,
6 threes. Yeah, like come on, man. Yeah.
All right, let's dive a little bit deeper into this. Let's elevate this conversation. Let's get to James' 6 quick thoughts next. Plus, like I said, we'll hear from the Las Vegas mayor on why she does not want the A's in Las Vegas. And then we'll hear some great sound from Super Bowl Media Day. Tons to get into on the Insiders on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader.
It's an interesting stat, the triple-double stat, that the Kings are 8-7 when Sabonis records a triple-double. But like Ian Kinzel here in the chat, triple-doubles aren't impacting winning. No, because they won 8 games when he did have a triple-double, and some of those games they would not have won if it wasn't for that.
I would need to go back, and maybe I'll make this an off-season project where I go through and see
the history of.
Yeah, and just kind of look at, well, what is this, just kind of a thing where players have triple doubles because their teammates aren't doing enough? Or is it something else? And like with Domas specifically, because that's really all I give a damn about. Is there some pattern to this? And
because I would like to factor in things like shooting percentage in those games. Like, is there a reason why he has more assists or not? Who were you up against? Like, Kyle is like,
come on. I wish I could. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this has been a huge source of stress in my life for the last 6 weeks. Your boy's passport has been approved. We're going to England, coach. Come on.
When are you going?
April. Like literally, I get back. No, hang on. I get back Saturday, the 13th, I think. Season finale, regular season finale is Sunday. at home against the Blazers at 12:30.
Oh,
I'm gonna try and finagle it where I'm at the at that game.
Okay, how long are you gone?
A week.
A week. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, you going to England for a week?
Yeah, like I said, all this stuff was planned when I had a different job where I'd kind of laid out like, hey, here's my availability, here's kind of where I'm at. They're like, okay, great. And now I jump into this new show and I'm like, uh-oh.
Nice.
But we've been trying to plan this England trip for a hot minute.
We need to get the 16-year-old a new passport for this summer.
Oh, true.
This will be his 4th passport. He had a passport as like a 4-month-old.
That's wild. They make babies have passports.
You should see it. It's the cutest thing.
Like, bro, it's a baby. Here it is.
Like his both of my boys have passports from when they're little. Their baby passports are amazing because they send them back to you. They just punch a hole in them and then send them back.
That's weird. So a baby passport, is it good and just till they're no longer a baby?
I think they're only 4 years until they get past their 16th birthday. But because he because he got one so young, it's every 4 years. So
I see.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm fired up.
That's awesome.
Fired up to be here today. All right, here we go. I'm fired up.
Oh, yeah.
A huge source of stress in my life has been relieved. Your boy's passport got approved. This is big time for me. I'm about to be a world traveler, not to brag, but...
Wait, have you ever left the country?
Nope.
Oh, my God.
I've never had a passport. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Arkansas. That's basically different.
That is a different country.
I've been to Florida.
Yeah.
I've been to several states.
Wow.
But never...
You've never left the country.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
I'm so uncultured.
That is incredible.
Once I know that I like international travel, it's going to be a wrap. Like it's going to...
Like you're going everywhere?
I'm going where we want to go to Japan, want to hit South Korea.
I don't know.
Want to hit
everywhere
in Europe.
I've hit a lot of countries. I don't know. I like 15 or
Alaska.
More. Alaska. That's just not a different country. But you do have to have a passport because you go through international waters. Yeah, you go through international waters. Dang. So yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Hey, a good summer topic would be 6 quick thoughts on international travel. But right now, let's do 6 quick thoughts from James Ham on the Kings 136-110 loss last night to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
How'd yesterday's Kings game go? Kings insider James Ham has 6 notes you need to know. Here are James Ham's 6 quick thoughts.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I should be wearing like a red, white, and blue headband and some dark glasses.
Oh, definitely. Wind machine.
Yeah, just like 6 quick thoughts. Let's get to these things.
Yeah, let's do it. Number 1.
15. Domantas Sabonis continued his assault in the box score. He looks like he might post a triple-double. He looked like he might post a triple-double in the first half. He finished with 12 points, 18 rebounds, and 15 assists. Man, he's really good, Kyle. Like his domination of the boards, his ability to set up his teammates. I know you want more baskets. I get it. But I also think that, in a game like this, maybe this is like how it had to end.
Yeah, last night, like I said, was not a the Kings would have won if Domas had done more offensively type of game. That wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, bad time to debut that take, but it's something I've kind of thought for a while. And then when you look at a game where they lost by 26 and he only had 9 shots, but again, when you're dishing out 15 assists and a bunch of those are 3-pointers that you weren't going to make, I mean, if he has 9 assists, they lose that game by 40.
Well, and the other thing I like about the assists that he has is it was something like 8 different players that he dished out an assist to. Like he's one of the most willing passers and better teammates that you're going to find on the court.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will benefit the Kings if he becomes a little bit more selfish.
No, I get you. 12, 15, and 19. That was his 15th triple-double on the season. It was also his 32nd consecutive double-double. He leads the league in double-doubles with, I think, 46 or 47. And he also is tied now with Nikola Jokic with 15 triple-doubles for the lead.
How many double-doubles in a row? I have a funny Warriors-related stat for this.
32.
That just got sent to me.
32.
32 double-doubles in a row.
Consecutive double-doubles.
Brandon Pajemski for the Warriors has 3 in a row. He is the first Warriors player to have that many in a row since 2019.
What? What?
Tomas has 32.
There was a season where the Warriors were like second in rebounding, and their top rebounder averaged 7-2 a game. And they had
It's probably Draymond.
It was Draymond, and then I think Looney was at 7-1.
Yeah.
And then the third best was
Steph
at like 5.4 per game. How do you lead the league in rebounding when you don't have a really good rebounder? Wild.
Yeah, crazy. Anyways, 32 double-doubles in a row is an insane number.
It is.
And it's one of those ones. I remember Kevin Love during his streak. It was like he had that streak broken by Golden State in 2009 or whenever it was.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. But it was like, how's he ever gonna not have one? And that's how I feel about Domas right now. It's like, how's he not gonna, even if he gets 8 points, he's gonna have 19 rebounds and 14 assists. It's crazy.
It is wild.
All right. Number 2.
Black Falcon. Harrison Barnes continues his resurgence with the Kings. 22 points, 6 of 10 from 3. I do wonder if he could have done more than 1 rebound and 0 assists. I'm not sure, but I feel like there's a possibility he could have done more than 1 rebound and 0 assists in 30 minutes of play.
I would have. You know what? I'm going to agree with you.
Especially when like you did end up missing a decent amount of shots. The Kings shot 46%. You did allow the other team to shoot 58% from the field and 56% from 3. So maybe there weren't that many rebounds, especially when Sabonis has 19.
Yeah.
But come on now. Somebody's got to go out there and help the big fella out.
The whole let Harrison Barnes shoot it more thing was in an effort to get him engaged in other areas of the game. If he's just hoisting shots and taking them away from Keegan Murray and De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk and whoever, stop.
Now he's just shooting it. Now he's just shooting it. Again, that's all he's doing.
If you have a player who is going to make 6 of his 10 threes, you're taking those 10 shots and you'll figure it out elsewhere. But that's a problem that I'm circling moving forward. If Harrison Barnes is going to shoot it that many times, that's fine. I need him to continue being engaged elsewhere.
No, I get you. I get you.
Number 3.
Outshined. De'Aaron Fox and Donovan Mitchell have known each other forever since high school. They're high school friends. They went in the same draft, 2017 draft. The Kings should have not traded the 10th pick and just taken Donovan Mitchell as well.
Oof.
Or Bam Adebayo. Anyway, I digress.
We only got a couple minutes.
Yeah, Mitchell finished with 29 points to Fox's 19. Mitchell was phenomenal. Absolutely
really
phenomenal.
He's one of those players. We talk about this with De'Aaron Fox, and Donovan Mitchell is built the same way. He got shut down by the Kings last time. He was going to make it his mission to dominate this game.
I feel like
he's capable of that.
Him and Fox kind of fit in the same underappreciated bubble. Like,
yeah, I think
Donovan Mitchell's a very good player.
Yeah, he's been awesome for a long time.
I would give up a bunch of first round picks for Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, definitely. More on the Kings first round pick stuff later. I want to hash out something we were talking about in the handoff yesterday and didn't really get to dig into. I'd like to dig into it today. Number 4.
Started chirping. Malik Monk got a little hot. And when he gets hot, he gets a little angry, a little bitter. All of a sudden he becomes a crazy ball player. And
it's so fun.
So he is fun, man. And he's on a little hot streak again. He finished with 18 points for 4 rebounds, but I want to point out the 1 assist there. That's a problem because he is a leader of the second unit. And I get that, the minutes from JaVale McGee weren't great, but he needs to find a way to be the guy who's averaging 5 assists a game off the bench, even when Sabonis is posting 15. Maybe Sabonis just stole all the assists and stole all the rebounds. Maybe that's what happened, Kyle.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there are, I don't know. I don't have any complaints about Malik. And I would rather him score and be chirping and be that a high energy player than actively just trying to distribute the basketball. I know it's important, but I'm not going to nitpick on a game like last night.
No, I get you. I get you. And again, a lot of his downhill, like he gets assists going downhill.
Yeah.
And you have to fear their shot blockers everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Number 5.
Number 5, tough assignment. Keegan Murray had to defend Mitchell for long stretches. I thought he held his own. Even though we had a decent night for Mitchell. He's been erratic on the offensive end over the last week or so. He had 10 points on 4 of 9 shooting. I need the Kings to get him involved again because he again put up 1 rebound. And if you're going to let him fade away like that, and then you need to like be on him. And he might just be going through a lull like Monk, but you got to figure it out.
I feel like there's a lot of stop and watch because Sabonis has been so dominant.
Yeah.
Like go get the rebound. You dish out the assist. It doesn't all have to be on one player. Number 6.
Kessler Edwards is settling in. He didn't really play in the second half. He did like in scrub time. But man, I like what I see from Kessler. He was 2 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. 2 of those threes came late in the game. He finished with 5 points. He didn't have a rebound or anything else, but again, long, athletic, defensive player. And in the first half, he looked like he belonged in the offense, which I thought is something I did not ever think I would see from him. He was moving well. He was going into the corner. When he got the ball for a 3-point shot, he had no hesitation. Those are things that you need to see from him if he's going to fit in.
Yeah. And he just looks like, he looks like a guy who hasn't played a ton of NBA minutes.
Yeah.
Just a little bit unsure of his movements at all times.
Yeah.
So if there's growth there within that game and you start seeing him play more minutes, ideally you'll see that growth come a little bit more rapidly the more he plays. But the Kings are in kind of a tough spot of threading that needle, right?
They are.
Where they can't afford to have a ton of non-productive minutes. So it's tough to get Kessler Edwards in.
What I can't see from here on out is I can't see him and JaVale McGee on the court together. To me, that's where you really ran into problems, where you had 2 players that nobody really feared offensively until, again, unless JaVale's running downhill. They just didn't let JaVale run downhill. And yeah, it makes it really, really tough for everybody else when you got 2 really non-factor offensive players.
We'll talk more about JaVale McGee coming up.
Yeah.
Yikes.
We probably have to.
Yeah, no, we definitely need to. We'll have an NBA trade deadline update coming next. The latest news and why it sounds like we're going to get a pretty quiet deadline league-wide. Not just here in Sacramento. We'll tell you about that next on ESPN 1320.
All right. What's going on, everybody?
Dude, getting those in by 28, that was great work by you.
Oh, you didn't think I was going to?
I thought we had no chance.
Yeah.
I thought we had no shot.
I'm watching the clock. Hi, Spencer.
What up, Spencer?
He didn't say hi to you, Kyle. He just said hi to me.
Wow. Wow.
Suck it, Kyle.
Wow. I am appalled. I feel bamboozled. I feel disrespected.
That's right. All of the words.
Hey, you know how there's always one thing that I forget to do in the morning, no matter how many times I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I got everything. We're good. Let's go. Because we go on our runs of Jamba Juice, right?
Yeah.
Forgot to send out a tweet and a push notification today.
Oh my God.
That was my thing I forgot.
I didn't even do the join us tweet.
I did. I tagged you, so retweet that because I notice a very strong correlation between you retweeting that tweet and the viewer numbers.
Let me see. ESPN 13.
I also just learned that if you hover over this, it breaks down the numbers for you. That's sick.
I don't know what's that.
Oh, great point. Hey, Dr. David makes a great point. I've been to Epcot. I've basically been to like 19 countries. I drank around the world with my cousins.
Did you go on the Small World? That also qualifies you.
I have been on that.
Let's see. I've been.
And you know what? It is a small world after all.
Yeah. I've been to France. I've been to Spain. Been to Germany. Been to Czech Republic.
Wow.
I've been in a train station in Slovenia, which was sketch. I've been to Hungary. I've been to Italy.
Dang.
I've been to Vatican, which is its own country. I've been to Austria. I've been to Belize, Costa Rica,
Mm-hmm.
Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
Canada,
Sure.
the United States.
That doesn't count. You live here.
Well, yeah, but you at least have to count. Like,
You know where
you're
I've
gonna be
been? You know where I've been?
here.
Back from break.
There it is.
Just a couple of dudes about to be world travelers. No big deal.
I like to travel, Kyle.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah, the
It's
wife
listed
and I.
off the 17 countries you've been to.
Yeah, the wife
Pretty
and I
jealous.
like we've made it.
Do you count airports?
No. Well, I
Can I-
don't count airports when I'm talking about states that I've been to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
So here's my deal with that. You can say you've been to, I don't know, what airport have I been in? I've been in the Denver airport, but I've never been outside in Colorado.
Same. Okay.
Which I think is everybody who doesn't live there. No, I've been inside. So I'll say like, yeah, I've been to Colorado. I can say that. I can say because I was in the airport. I
Yep.
was in the state, but I've not experienced Colorado. So practically, no, I haven't. Literally, yes, I've been to Colorado. Practically, no, because people are like, oh, you've been to Denver? Where do you recommend to eat? Like, I don't know, the Burger King in the food court. So that's the yeah.
No, I'm with
where I
you.
land
Like,
on
like if you're gonna do states, how many states have you been to and all that? I have a tough time counting some of the states. Like,
Yeah, I had a layover in New Jersey. I've never been to Jersey.
I flew into New Jersey one time and drove to New York.
That counts for me.
I think that probably counts.
That counts for me.
Yeah, but I haven't been. Like, I think Atlanta is one of those ones where if you're doing international travel, sometimes
Yeah,
you can get to Atlanta and then you're there. But I haven't been to Georgia.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Not to brag, but I've driven from Arkansas to Iowa. So,
Oh, you've covered.
so I've covered Arkansas, Missouri, and Iowa.
As a kid,
Yeah.
we did go from California to Texas and Oklahoma. So I've been to New Mexico. I've been to the Carlsbad Caverns.
Great.
Like all
That's
of those
cool.
things. Arizona.
Mhm.
Anyway,
I lived in Arizona for 2.5 years. Somehow never saw the Grand Canyon.
you really.
Go me. I'm such a piece of work, dude. I lived like 3 hours from the Grand Canyon for 2.5 years. And my dumb ass, when did I moved down there? 24. I was 24, 25. And I moved back right before my 26th birthday.
So wait, have you seen the Waimea Canyon?
I've been to Waimea Canyon, yes.
Okay, but not the Grand Canyon.
Not the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
N-
It's literally
that's
the biggest hole in the world. You're like, oh, that's a big hole in the earth.
Oh, okay. Thank you for finishing that sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm like 25. I'm like, yeah, I could drive, but I don't want to drive 3 hours to see the Grand Canyon. That's just too cool for that.
You're too cool for that.
If I lived down there now, I'd be at the Grand Canyon like every week.
Huh.
Once a week.
All right.
Stop by the Grand Canyon. I messed up, bro. What do you want from me?
I've been a couple of times.
All right. Anyways. Our Jiffy Lube Fast Break player of the game for the Kings and Cavs before we get to the latest trade deadline news and why it sounds like it's going to be a quiet deadline. Jiffy Lube Fast Break player of the game. You're going to go to ESPN1320.com. The contest page is front and center. You can't miss it. You're going to go to that contest page and you are going to enter the code word Falcon because Harrison Barnes is our Jiffy Lube Fast Break player of the game. Went 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. I know he didn't have any rebounds or assists, but frankly, I'm tired of giving it to Domantas Sabonis. So Falcon is your keyword. You enter to win a $100 Jiffy Lube gift certificate, and your name is entered to win a Sacramento Kings jersey that we are giving away at the end of this month, the end of March, and then at the end of the regular season in mid-April. So 3 more jerseys to give away. Get your name in now at ESPN1320.com. Jiffy Lube Fast Break contest page. Code word Falcon, FALCON, and enter to win that Jiffy Lube gift certificate and a Kings jersey.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
I'm in.
All right. NBA trade deadline update. I'm going to run through some of the stuff I've read because the crux of all of this is nobody's trading anyone. Everyone's going to stand pat. And I get that some of that, and this is where it's so tough. And I know that you deal with this as somebody who's on the beat and who talks to people. It's really hard to decipher when a team genuinely doesn't want to trade, I don't know, Dorian Finney-Smith, and when they're just saying that to try and drive the price up. Because we've heard that the Nets turned down 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith. And then we've also heard now that they're not interested in trading him. So that to me feels like smoke.
Everything right now is smoke. Like there's just so much smoke and fake stuff going on right now. Like if they could easily trade Dorian Finney-Smith. They're not a good team. They're
a mess.
Yeah, they're a mess.
They lost Golden State last night. The Golden State Warriors, who have not been playing well, shot 4 of 22 from 3 and beat the Nets handily.
Yeah, the Nets realistically, they should be looking to trade everyone, including Mikal Bridges. If someone is offering you 5 first-round picks, you should have already made that move.
Yes.
You should have already done it. Like, he doesn't fit any timeline. You're like, whatever you're trying to do there.
How old is he? 25?
He's 27.
Oh.
No, he doesn't fit any timeline.
No,
like, what are you doing?
20, and turns 28 before next season.
Yes.
Oh.
But he has a very, very team-friendly contract.
Mm-hmm.
And that team-friendly contract is why he's worth so much. Just like, again, the Kuzma situation. I wouldn't necessarily ever tell you to go trade for Kyle Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
But his contract said, oh, yeah, go trade for that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no doubt.
Same with Mikal Bridges. You're like, what? That's all you make? What exactly happened here?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about a $35 to $40 million player who's making $24 million or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And he's developed really, really nicely into like an elite 3-and-D wing.
Yeah.
If the Nets came out today and said Mikal Bridges is on the trading block, and maybe they have to teams and it's just not out. I'm sure it would be if it was, though.
Yeah.
If they did that today, they could get maybe not a Rudy Gobert haul, because I think that was probably an outlier in NBA history, but something near that. You talked about, what'd you say, 5 first-round picks?
Yeah. That's somebody offered. There was a Western Conference team that offered 5 first-round picks when he was traded to Brooklyn, and there's been rumor that multiple times they've been offered 4 first-round picks, and that could be pick swaps. But hey, Kyle, he makes $21.7 million this year. Mm-hmm. He makes $23.3 million the next year. He makes $24.9 million the year after that, and we're talking about an elite player who signed a 4-year, $90 million contract. Like, this is crazy talk. So again, he'll play his 28 and 29 seasons on like bargain basement deals. And that really, like, just the stability of having a player that is that good, that makes that little money, is crazy.
In a league where wing play is the most essential thing, he is one of the best, making mid-tier money.
Yes. Well, that, and you also have to factor in that he played 82 games. He played 73 in a 72 game season, which I don't even know how that's possible. He played 72 the next year in another 72 game season. He played 82. Then he played 83 again. He's played more.
Are these in-season tournament games?
No. He, in 2022-23, he played 83 games because he was traded, and his team that he got traded to was behind the other team in games played. So, yeah, on occasion, there's a guy who plays 163 games in Major League Baseball who gets traded mid-season and on an off day for his team, but gets traded to another team and plays on the off day and picks up the 163rd game. But he's done that.
Emmanuel Sanders, when he got traded to the 49ers, played 17 games that year.
Oh.
Because 49ers had their bye before trading for him.
Yeah.
And the Broncos hadn't had their bye yet when they traded him.
Oh, that's wild.
So he played 17 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Mikal Bridges doesn't miss games, and that's a big deal. And like some team, like I don't think he's ever missed a game, and I think he's actually played more than the prerequisite number.
I understand from the Nets standpoint, you go, this is a foundational, like building block player.
Mm-hmm.
But also he's about to be 28 and you have nothing substantial around him.
Nothing brewing at all.
Like Nick Claxton, fine player. Like fine player.
But he's on the block.
Cam Johnson, fine player. Cam Thomas is a bucket. But
yeah, it's a bunch of men.
There was nothing impressive when you get outplayed that badly by Golden State on a night where they don't have Andrew Wiggins and like Guy Santos and Lester Quinones are playing big minutes.
Oh,
that's tough. You need to be on the horn if you're Sean Marks blowing this thing up.
I've told you, like Lester Quinones, I would play all the time.
Dude, he's baller.
He is like, how many times I've watched him tear people up in either Summer League or the California Classic. Every time it's like, that dude is a bucket.
Yeah.
Put him in the game.
And can play some defense.
Oh, yeah. I like him.
Anyways. Yeah, the Nets got cooked last night. If I'm Sean Marks, I am, what do you give me for Dorian Finney-Smith? What do you give me for Royce O'Neal? What do you give me for Mikal Bridges? Cam Johnson? Who do you want?
Yes.
And just stocking up as much as humanly possible for the next. The other problem, though, is one of the things I was reading about this trade deadline is Michael Scotto, actually, in Hoops Hype reported this. The Nets are not interested in either a late first round picks or a 2024 pick.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's why a lot of the trades we've kind of talked about featuring some of these names may wait until the offseason.
Well, that's what I was trying to explain yesterday, where I was telling you that the Kings aren't the only team that has like a major reset button.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lakers are the same thing, where right now they can offer one first round pick and it's like a 2028, and one pick swap. But if you fast forward to the summer, they get 3. They would have 3 first round picks that they can offer, and that's a big deal. Like
right.
you're going to open things up a little bit, and they're going to be able to move those picks.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How does a pick swap work within the confines of the Stepien rule, where you can't trade multiple firsts or multiple back-to-back first round picks in advance?
Okay. So a pick swap just means that you're going to switch the first round picks.
Right. I understand that.
Okay. But what that means is when you get a pick swap, this is actually kind of a weird thing about the pick swap. It also means that the team who you're trading with can't trade their pick, right? So if you have a 2028 pick swap, that means that you can't trade your 2028 and they can't trade their 2028.
Right.
But check this out. Because of the Stepien rule doesn't state that you can't trade your first round picks. As long as you have a first round pick, anybody's first round pick, it still counts, right? So it would be
that I did not know.
Yes. And so you can even go in and do something like, trade for a future first round pick. So you can trade picks around that pick, right? So like right now, the Kings they're a team that should be around between 18 and 22 in the draft. That's not a horrible pick in most drafts, right? But it's not a great pick. But if you were to trade with, say, the Bucks and pick up a 2024 first round pick, then if you didn't have your pick tied up in like a future pick thing, but if you had their 2024 pick, that means that you would have access to some of your other picks.
Right. Now you have access to your 2025, whereas you don't right now.
Yeah. Well, technically, actually you might have, you can't do it either way because
of the herder.
Yeah. Because of the lottery protections.
Right. Okay.
But if you were to get a 2026 pick, if you were to go out and trade for a 2026 pick, you would be able to trade a 2028 pick, or, you could start moving other picks around. So
if let's go to this world. The Kings traded an unprotected first to the Hawks for Kevin Huerter.
Yep.
Just forget that that's a bad idea, but let's just go there for a second. That first is unprotected. The Hawks own it.
Yes.
The Kings now can't trade 2025.
They can't trade 2025.
But if they trade with the Bucks and acquire their 2024 first round pick, Unprotected.
Yep.
They can now trade their 2025.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Because they have a pick in
Right,
2024.
Okay.
Yes.
And do pick swaps count as trading your pick?
No, because you're still going to get a first round pick in the swap. So a pick swap isn't a first
so
or
you
a
can
second.
do 4 pick swaps in a row.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yes.
I get it now.
So pick swaps are complicated, and like the Kings made a pick swap that came back to bite them, but then it didn't.
Is that the Stauskas one?
No, that's the where they traded Stauskas
Uh-huh.
along with Jason Thompson and one other player. I'm not sure why it's not. Oh, Carl Landry to Philadelphia. They cleared up $32 million in salary cap space and then squandered that offseason on again Marco Bellinelli, Costa Koufis, and Rajon Rondo. But they in the 2017 NBA draft, the Kings were the 8th spot. They moved up to number 3, but Philadelphia, who had the 5th pick and the first pick, but the 5th pick was able to pick swap with them and drop them from 3 to 5.
That's right.
Yeah, and so they missed out on the 3rd pick in the draft, which I believe is Jason Tatum, which, of course, Philadelphia traded up to number 1 to draft Markelle Fultz.
Ouch.
And gave up something to not draft Jason Tatum at number 3.
Huh.
Yeah.
I get that the Sixers have been okay and they've like been in the playoffs and competitive and stuff, but that's an all-time bad one.
Well, it's an all-time bad one. And you brought this stat to me the other day. Like, how many conference championships does Joel Embiid have?
I don't even think he's played in one.
He hasn't played in one. Oh, that's right.
Yikes.
Trust that process.
They would have. I had somebody argue with me. I don't want to dive like super deep into the Sixers. I have more trade deadline stuff to get to, but I got in an argument with one of my friends who I respect his basketball opinion greatly. Like I love talking hoops with him, but I mentioned, I was like, the process did not work. And he was like, well, yeah, it did.
Because it landed him a superstar. That's the
right. They go to the playoffs every year. They have an MVP now and this and that.
Yeah.
If you're not winning titles, if you're not even going to conference championships, I have a hard time being like, wow, yeah, that strategy is super successful. Everybody should do it.
Giving away 3 years and being horrible for 3 years. Well, but reverse.
You would trade that for a title. If you told Sixers fan in 2011 or whenever that was, if you told Sixers fan, hey, this whole losing every game, losing 70 games a year for 3 years thing is going to net you trips to the second round, you'd be like, oh, pass.
Yeah.
You're going to have an MVP. Okay. Am I going to the final? Well, no, God, no. Not even the conference finals.
No.
But the second round, huh?
You're there, huh? You in?
I don't think it worked.
No, at the end of the day, it didn't work. And, I think that the way that the Kings, while the process is happening, the Kings are just bad, just not horrible bad. And it didn't work for them either. Like the one star they get out of all of it is Fox, which is that 2017 number 5 pick in the draft. And again, they get a little bit lucky to get Fox because the pick before is Josh Jackson. The second pick is Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz. Like there's a bunch of bombs in that. Really, it's Tatum at 3. It's Fox at 5. It's Markkanen at 7. And then you start getting into, I think 13 and 14 is Donovan Mitchell and Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
And then 19 is John Collins. And then Kuzma's 27. OG Anunoby is like 22. So like it's a really, really good draft that helped restock the NBA. But a bunch of busts, even I think Jonathan Isaac's 6. Dennis Smith Jr. is like 8.
Also on the Nets. Reviving his career.
Yeah. I think is Frank Ntilikina in that top 10. There's some
smokes.
There's some crazy stuff that happens in that specific draft. That number 9 was Dennis Smith Jr. and Frank Ntilikina was number 8, or Nicolina, or however you want to say
Ntilikina, I believe.
I don't. I've heard it like 17 different ways.
Yeah, man. I'm. It's funny though because in that draft, it was like Markelle Fultz home run, layup number 1 pick.
Oh, easy.
I need a full documentary on what happened to Markelle Fultz.
A full documentary.
Like
I'm
top
with you.
to bottom. I need to see, because all the reporting around it was weird, and he's hurt and he's not hurt, and he changed his jump shot, but he didn't change it. He changed it because he got hurt. No, he changed, and now he won't shoot. Now he can't. Whatever it was, I need a documentary. I don't need it to be multiple parts. Give me a 48-minute documentary on what the hell happened to Markelle Fultz. But then Lonzo Ball was 2.
Lonzo Ball number 2.
What again? Like that's a layup number 2 pick at the time.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why you never approached me the first time.
Right, I was terrified because you
I,
so strongly.
I watched Lonzo Ball play in the NCAA tournament. If injuries didn't happen, he would have been a better player than he is, but that doesn't mean he would have been the player that I thought. When you watched him play, he looked just like young Jason Kidd.
Yep.
The rebound, the hustle, the way that his court vision, his ability to grab a rebound and throw a 60-yard bomb to somebody, like a 60-foot bomb to somebody for a like instant layup within 2 seconds of of grabbing a rebound. Just incredible, like instincts.
Awesome.
Absolutely sad that his career has just fallen off like it has, but injuries happen. And Josh Jackson was supposed to be Brandon Williams.
Roy?
No, who's the kid for they got drafted number 2 this year for Charlotte?
Oh, Brandon Miller.
Sorry.
Oh, he's figuring it out, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
He can play a little bit.
Yep.
All right. Other trade deadline stuff.
Yeah.
How does Bruce Brown grab you for the Kings?
I like him a lot. I wish he was under contract more than 2 years, and his contract is, again, it's going to be like slightly prohibitive. And
it's a $23 million club option next year.
Well, that's fine. You know, you have him this year and the year after, but after that, what does he become? Like, how do you keep him around? And I'm not sure that you can. It's difficult. He is 27. I like him. I think he would be like a perfect backcourt mate with De'Aaron Fox, except for he's not an elite shooter. But if Fox is improved, it changes who you can put at that position. So
and he's a good enough scorer that it's not like teams can just not guard him.
Yeah, well, that and just think of him coming off cuts from Sabonis.
He's a good defender.
Yeah,
it makes De'Aaron and Bruce Brown and Keegan like just a really switchable. Group, man.
No, I like him. I do. He's only 6'4", but he plays bigger than 6'4". A little bit like
I definitely thought he was a 6'6" guy.
No,
he is not.
No, him and Gary Payton the second both play way bigger than they are as far as like players.
GP2 is generously 6 foot.
Yeah,
he's not a big dude. I was reading today that the Raptors won a first-round pick for Bruce Brown.
Okay.
And we talked about this a little bit yesterday. If I'm the Kings, I'm punting. If I think that this player is going to make my team better, and the one hurdle in this deal, the salaries all work, and the roster is going to get better, and team wants a first-round pick, fine. I'm throwing it in.
Yeah.
Like that's, and maybe that's wrong. Maybe that puts them in some kind of bind in the next 4 years or whatever it is. But dude, I think they are close enough now and over the next 2 and 3 years that even if they're not winning a title, those picks are going to be late enough in the first round that you're not going to miss them.
No, I would agree with you. And to be honest, like a 2026 protected pick that again it's tied to the 2024 pick. But he's also a player that if you do the math the right way, you can get without giving up a Barnes or a Herter. Now, I don't know if you want to give up those players in that,
right?
But that's like buying a really, really expensive version and like twice like offensive player, but a much better version of like Matisse Thybulle. Like he's a very good. It's basically I think it's kind of like buying Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You know, like they're in this same realm, except for I think Bruce Brown's a little bit better athlete. Both are really, really strong defenders. The Kings need that type of guy.
Yeah, I totally agree. Alex Caruso is another one of those type of players. Woj reported that the Bulls are looking for a quote Godfather offer for Alex Caruso in the OG Anunoby range. And you know what? If I was the Bulls, I would be looking for that deal too.
Got it.
You know what? If I'm the Kings, if a team wants Davion Mitchell, I need the OG Anunoby package. Ring him up. So I don't know. The Bulls are another weird one. Where it's like, why are you not launching this thing into the sun?
Yeah, they're
like if they've been just good enough that they think they're interesting in the play-in.
I'm gonna tell you what they are. Like, it's really strange. And I think the tie here is Vucevic.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what Orlando looked like with Vucevic. Exactly.
Oh, true.
You were always just like, hey, it's time. Like 2 years, 3 years ago, you should have broke this thing up. You remember the Aaron Gordon situation is there. Like, they just wouldn't pull the trigger on breaking the thing up.
Mm-hmm.
And look what happened with Orlando. They broke it up, and all of a sudden they are right back. You know, they're a better team. They're 27 and 23. They're a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to go backwards to go forwards.
Yep.
And it's those teams that hold on to those marginal teams, the marginal group that you keep thinking, oh, they're so close. They're not, because you got a bunch of injury prone players. You got a bunch of things that are never going to work out. It's not going to work right. Yeah, they need to bust that thing up.
I can see the Wizards doing that with Kuzma too, making that mistake of being like, well, we brought these guys in. It's their first year together. This isn't great, but hey, bring in a draft pick, and we've still got young players to build around.
I think with Kuzma and with Jeremy Grant, they're both in the same boat where the teams are like, look, we don't have to make a move today. We have Kuzma's under contract for 3 more years, and Jeremy Grant's under contract for 4 more years. I would just caution that Jeremy Grant at 4 years and $120 million remaining on this deal really isn't great.
Not going to get easier to trade.
No, he's not going to. And Kuzma is going to hit 29, and his contract declining is always going to make him easier to trade, but Jeremy Grant, not so much.
Yeah. And then last thing here, we've talked, not lately, but we talked a lot about DeJounte Murray for a couple of days last month, December, whenever it was. We talked a lot about DeJounte Murray. Jake Fisher from Yahoo Sports reported that it sounds like the Hawks are perfectly fine holding on to him until the summer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They give up a lot for him.
Yeah.
And, why take pennies on the dollar? That team is a bit of a mess. And putting that out there that they might be willing, that could just be like somebody trying to push buttons. Because everyone knows that the Lakers were close on that to getting DeJounte.
And good for the Hawks, though. Not just being like, yeah, we'll just take D'Angelo Russell. Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't going to work, man.
Well, they didn't want him at all. And I don't blame them.
I wouldn't either.
No.
Yeah. When the Lakers, who are bad, are like, here, take our second best scorer. Like, don't.
There's only one Danny Ainge, man. There's only one Danny Ainge.
There sure is.
Celtics legend. You would think that he wouldn't just keep feeding the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, all right.
Kessler Edwards played real minutes last night. He has the last couple of nights. We will talk about what that means. But before we get to that, we have some fun sound from Super Bowl Media Day, and we have some fun sound of the Las Vegas mayor flambeing John Fisher and the A's. You're not going to want to miss that on ESPN 1320. Are you sticking around for this break, James?
Yeah.
My man.
You need me to talk to the people?
Yeah, I'm just, I upload the first hour of the podcast.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Thanks. Preach, dog.
Yes, Toronto Blue Jays legend Danny Ainge, third baseman.
Good knowledge by Ramsey.
Great two-way player. I remember his 82 Fleer card, light yellow border, beige border. Yeah. Wearing a Toronto Blue Jays.
Also co-founder or something of Hat Club, where I purchased maybe 97% of my hats.
Oh, okay. Interesting. There is right now a beef going on with Matt Barnes and Jason Anderson on the Twitter box, which is it's gotten a little crazy. Barnes was one of his sons got a technical at a high school basketball game, and I don't know if he misheard the broadcaster or what, but there's a student broadcaster calling the game. And Barnes went over and had a conversation with him with his hand on his shoulder, which is
Yikes.
like the video is made its way around the interwebs.
Is it a PA announcer or a broadcaster?
It's a kid.
No, I know, but was he PA like on the PA?
They're calling a live stream.
Oh,
for the
got
game.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And someone said that the kid told Matt Barnes to shut up, but the problem is it was live streamed and you can actually hear what he says, which he does not say that.
The kid told Matt Barnes to shut up?
Well, that's what somebody tried to put out there on the internet.
Oh, got it. I see.
And but
Yeah.
again, he was live streaming and it doesn't sound like he said that at
I
all.
looked Matt Barnes in the face and told him to shut up. That'd be nuts.
Yeah. And again, Matt Barnes doesn't coach that team. Strangely enough, you know who does? Derek Fisher.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a student broadcaster, like a high school kid. You guys can see the video out there. You guys can make your own determination on it. I don't know what Jason wrote, but that's clearly what I'm assuming he's going off of, that Matt Barnes is.
Good luck, Jason.
Good luck with that.
Beefing with people on the internet is not a fun way to go about life.
No, I just block people. I know you've said I just mute people, but I don't do that. I just block people.
Yeah, it depends on the kind of mood I'm in. Honestly, I'm more often mute over block.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever muted anybody.
All right, 15 seconds. All right, hour number 2. Taking the afternoon, then we will give way to D-Lo and Kenny right here on Sacramento Sports Leader. Thanks for listening to the Insiders. What?
You catch it every time. Like, I would have already said it like 8 times. Like, I would have said, D-Lo and not Kenny.
Yeah, D-Lo and Kenny.
Yeah.
No KC this week.
No KC this week. I love the bit.
Kenny. Thank you.
It is Kenny.
It is Kenny Caraway, of course. It's still technically the guy with those initials, but because it's Super Bowl week and the 49ers are playing Kansas City, we're eliminating KC from the conversation.
I love it.
We're rolling with it. Thanks, man. I'm glad you like it.
We don't know if Kenny's going to be here today.
Yeah, it's TBD.
Yeah, it is TBD. I haven't seen him come through yet. He has some stuff.
Might be just D-Lo. I don't know.
It might be.
Tap in to find out. Thanks everybody for listening on the radio, on the free Odyssey app, and of course everybody on ESPN 1320 TV. That's youtube.com/ESPN 1320, twitch.tv/ESPN 1320. Also streaming live on Twitter at ESPN 1320. Wherever you're watching, we appreciate you very much. If you're on YouTube, hit that little like button. Also subscribe to the channel. So all of our content is right there at the top of the page when you log in. All right. First of all, we were having a conversation at the break about muting versus blocking on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I mute people is because it's usually for something that's not that egregious or something that's like, okay, this is annoying. I'm just going to mute this so it doesn't show up in my mentions anymore.
Okay.
And then that person maybe will reply to something later and it shows under your tweet like you've muted this person. I'll look and I'll go, oh, okay, that's like I muted them for some reason that they can be unmuted now.
Yeah.
That allows me to do that, whereas blocking really doesn't. Once you're blocked, you're out of here.
I have like gone out after a game and gone to walk to my car and like there are fans there and like, hey, what's going on? And I'll say hello. And then they'll be like, hey, you blocked me. And I'm like, okay.
You're probably being a knucklehead.
That was pretty rare that I block somebody. And typically it's when they say something overtly offensive aimed at somebody, whether it's a Kings player or a Kings coach. Like you can sit there and bag on a coach all you want and say that they should fire this coach or blah, blah, blah. But when you get like profane and offensive, I'm like, look, I don't have time for it. And I don't want it in my timeline. I don't want it in my timeline.
Yep. Gone. Yeah. I met somebody at a 95.7 event one time, and they went, "Hey, yeah, I'm a huge fan. You blocked me on Twitter. I don't know why." And then I went and looked, and they had like mother effed me and this and that, and I was an idiot and blah, blah. I'm like, dog, like, what?
Bro, is this you?
He's like, oh, I was going through something. Sorry, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You get unblocked.
All right.
You're a nice in person.
Like, stop doing that. Stop being a keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Let's get to, we have a bunch of sound to get to in this segment. So Super Bowl Media Day was yesterday. Putting a pin in Kings. We'll get back to the Kings momentarily.
Yes.
Super Bowl Media Day was yesterday. And that is where the players from each team come into the stadium and they do these on stage interviews where it's blasted over the PA, and then there's like individual press conferences. It is a madhouse. You've got Jimmy Fallon's crew there, like messing with players, and you've got people from different podcasts asking, when was the first time you benched 315 pounds? Like those kind of questions.
Yeah, if you're a Smoothie King smoothie, what flavor would you be?
Right, that's your favorite.
It is.
We here prefer Jamba Juice.
That's right.
If anybody from Jamba Juice would
like to sponsor the show, yeah.
We regularly, every morning, it's just us like this. That protein berry workout sure does taste good in the mornings.
My peach perfection is wonderful.
Just look at all the boosts you can get. All right, so Andy Reid, the Chiefs head coach, got asked a question about the 49ers, and listen to this response. I don't even know what the question is, but it's a very generic answer about the 49ers, and listen how he answers this question.
Yeah, listen, they're good. Yeah. I mean, they're a good team. So, and they are favored, which we understand. We had ups and downs this year. So.
If you didn't hear that, he went, yeah, they're a good team, and they are favored, which we understand. We've been up and down this year. That is an NFL head coach referencing the point spread of a football game they're in.
I just wonder, like, if like he pulled out Prize Picks and started saying, well, if I were to choose, I definitely would go with the Mahomes 99% off 1 yard. All he needs is 1 yard, and I win
half a yard.
After that, I'm not sure, because I'm not gonna Kadarius Toney 52 yards or more or less. I don't think I'm taking that.
Yeah, I'm going less on that.
I'm going less.
It's just it's so funny how entrenched sports betting has become in sports.
It's everywhere now.
That not only is the coach going, yeah, they're favored, and we understand that. We've been up and down this year. He's not only saying they're favored, he's like, yeah, but given how the betting markets work, like, what? But I think this just sounds new, because, and he's not saying they're favored like, oh, the general public is just kind of in general picking them to win. It's literally the sports book has the 49ers as 2.1 to 2.5 point, depending on the book, point favorites over the Chiefs. And hearing a coach say this and reference that, to me, is not alarming. Like, oh my God, Andy Reid, how does he know? Is he betting on it? It's not even that. It's just that it's so permeated into the sports conscience now that you have head coaches that are just vaguely or maybe acutely aware of how many points their team is either favored or dogs by.
Yes.
Underdogs.
That's look, it's so much part
amazing
of how we watch the game. It's part that's where, the podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks, and I put out Prize Picks. The Kings Beat podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks, and I go out and I put Prize Picks things out every game. I am horrible at it, but it doesn't mean I'm not having a good time.
Right.
And we have a good time as a media group doing it when everyone's together at a Kings game. But I think it's just it found its way in. And let's be honest, the game is in Las Vegas. You let a team move to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's in Las Vegas. Like, I sure do hope no players get in trouble this week for doing something stupid, like walking up to a sports bet window. Like, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb.
Yeah, I'm sure there were many, many meetings about what is and is not legal from a sports betting perspective with the league's rules.
I hope everyone is like sitting there, like they've had these conversations again and again and again with these
Because
players.
yeah, and remember, players have been suspended for betting legally in states,
Yeah.
but at like the team hotel. They get suspended from the NFL for that because they were at the team hotel and not outside. Just yeah, I'm with you. You got to know all the rules. A couple more really quick. Here's Brock Purdy got asked about Taylor Swift, obviously.
It's late in the fourth quarter. Are you prepared to disappoint Taylor Swift?
Yes.
You know why that answer's
Yes.
perfect? You know why that answer's perfect? It exudes confidence. Like, yeah, I'm ready to do that. But it wasn't disrespectful.
No.
You can't use it as bulletin board material. He's answering the question. Swifties aren't going to come after him. Chiefs players aren't going to be like, hey, did you see what he said about Travis's girlfriend? Meh. He just went, yes. And then he says it's not in that clip, but he goes, I'll leave it at that.
There it is.
Purdy under pressure again, coming through.
There he is.
Good job, Brock. And then
Franchise quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Talk about people making decisions.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan made a decision before heading to the podium last night. At least it sounds like Kyle Shanahan made a decision before going to the podium last night. Here he is talking to NFL Network's Michael Robinson.
When an owner comes in after training camp practices and is like, hey, how's the quarterback? And what he means is the starter or the second. And you in irritation go, I don't know, but our third guy's the best. Like, that's not what he wants to hear. So that's why he remembers it very strong. But that was just more, Brock was so good right away with every rep he got. He was always the same. And he only got a couple of them. So it was easy for me to say. Because in his few reps, he was the best. But if you know that for a fact, I mean, then you do what you do right away. But he was the best. But you ease that on. And every time he got a little more reps, it was the same as when he only got 2. And so when it was all said and done and he got a lot of playing time, it was like, oh, this looks exactly like what I told you when I was irritated. And he only had 3 reps. And I said, no, he's the best. But that's what was so real about Brock. That's why after his 7 games, his rookie year, even when he got hurt, we knew what we had because he'd been that way in practice every day. And it was the exact same way in the games.
Scotch.
Dude.
I love Scotch.
Vodka Red Bull, per sources. But my man was here. There's 2. He was either feeling himself before going out there and was like, this is going to suck. I'm going to have a couple drinks. Or I couldn't really tell. Maybe it's playing over a speaker. And it was one of those things where he's hearing himself back. And I'm sure you've experienced this on television. And if you haven't, when you're talking and you hear yourself on delay, you start to slow down to
you literally just like
right, because it doesn't work. Yeah. And because you're trying to not repeat yourself, so you talk like this, so the sound isn't coming through as fast. So I thought maybe that's what it was, but I think he was just having a good time. Whatever it was, I'm here for it.
I am also here for it.
Right.
I mean, like if you're gonna put the Super Bowl in Vegas, this is gonna happen.
Look, here's if you're done for the night, and like, yeah, I got to go do this media responsibility, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Like, yeah, man. If that's what he did, again, I don't know if he did or not, but if that's what he did, I'm here for it.
All right.
It's not like it's not like he went, hey, you know what? Instead of watching film, I'm gonna do this. No, he's
already watched
all the film he's going to watch today. He's going to do it again today and the next day.
Probably going to catch Blue Man Group.
Yeah, maybe see, Cirque du Soleil and call it good.
Yeah.
All right. We didn't get to the A's getting fried by the mayor of Las Vegas on the Front Office Sports podcast. We'll listen to that next on ESPN 1320. This is my dude. Ramsey hit the nail on the head. This is my whole issue. Is Travarius Ward told media people in a public press conference, like, yeah, we're going to turn up the first couple nights.
Yeah, they're going to have a good time. Like, good for them. As long as like there's a team bus and everyone's being safe. And
right. If they lose to the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday, it is not because they had some drinks on Monday night. I promise. It's because they can't tackle and they're facing Patrick Mahomes.
Actually, that's like, if they're going to lose, it's because Patrick Mahomes beat them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's a possibility that they lose a game themselves, that they turn the ball over 4 times and it's just over.
Sure.
But if I were a betting man, I would say that Mahomes, if you're going to lose, it's because Patrick Mahomes beat you.
Yeah, I would agree.
Which requires his receivers to catch the ball.
We need to get to sales about Jamba.
Yeah. I would take Jamba gift cards.
Yeah, we could do giveaways.
Yeah.
We could do...
We like to give away things.
Don't they already sponsor King stuff? Like, we could definitely tie a segment around Jamba.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Jim Garfinkel has a question for you that I'm going to star.
Curious as to what value has any. Jim, it's an interesting question. Like, I think that there would be teams around the league that would be intrigued. Maybe not as much as the Kings were this offseason. As of today, he's not a negative contract. It's a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year team option. And he, like, the way I would look at him at this point is more of a function of a trade than an actual asset. So
1 minute.
$6.5 million, 6.4, whatever it is, 6.7. I can't remember what it is exactly, but that tells me that, like, if you need him as part of a package, I'm not giving up both Trey Lyles and Sasha Vezenkov, but if one of them has to go in the trade, then one of them has to go. And I'm, again, I like both of those guys. As far as like their long term, I think Trey Lyles might be, in my book, a better player.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that before they signed him, and I believe that still to be the case. Although he is a bucket. Like, I think Sasha Vezenkov could easily average 12, 13 points a game.
Yeah. I'm interested. It's interesting to me that he got dumped out of the rotation so quickly. Okay, here we go.
Right.
Good question in the chat about Sasha Vezenkov. We can talk about that in a little bit. I want to get to this sound from the mayor of Las Vegas, though. And James, I know you're in the same boat as me in terms of the A's leaving.
Yeah.
Lifetime A's fan. Them leaving Oakland just hurts. And I'm not necessarily optimistic that they're going to wind up staying in Oakland somehow. I think that the John Fisher's unwillingness or seeming unwillingness to sell the team, and the fact that it appears that the relationship between the current A's regime and the city of Oakland has fractured to a point beyond repair. Like, all of that stuff has me more pessimistic than optimistic. But these little things just keep happening in Vegas, from the Vegas side, whether it's schools over stadiums or a teachers union that is suing the state for the way SB1 passed. That's the bill that gave the A's the $380 million in public funds to help build their stadium on the Tropicana site. And now the mayor of Las Vegas has spoken out. And I was certain, I don't know what you thought, but when I first saw that she spoke, I was like, oh, I bet she's like, oh, we can't wait to have them and this and that. It turns out she's not on the A's side here.
She has come out with a statement after the fact, but I want her words speak. here. Like let her words speak for her, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because she was on a podcast. She said what she wanted to say.
She was on the Front Office Sports podcast, speaking from the hip, not in a PR crafted statement.
That's right.
And here's the first thing she said about how things have gone working with the A's in Las Vegas.
Well, I mean, it's your government. It really is. I mean, you've got to find, I mean, to me, if you want something badly enough, you find a way to get it done. Certainly here, I think those who've been involved with the conversations and the planning, and as I said, Dave Cavaliers and his team have many meetings, picked on different sites. This one's definite. Nope, they don't like it anymore. This one's the one. Nope, not that one. And that's the reason I keep thinking there's something wrong here. And maybe just waiting it out. And it's not a vote because the people, I'm not sure the funds are there. So how do you find and make the funds happen? I just know that Mr. Fisher, a long time successful family, in my opinion, needs to listen to the people that are up there. It's their team.
Carolyn Goodman, welcome to the Resistance. Come on.
The mayor
of Las Vegas is like, yeah, they have all these meetings and they have this site and that site. Oh my God. That doesn't sound like a person who has been thrilled to work with the Oakland A's.
No, I don't know anyone that is thrilled to work with them. Like, and I think everybody from Major League Baseball to even Las Vegas and certainly in Oakland, everybody that gets done dealing with them feels the same way. Just sell the team. I mean, Las Vegas, they want him there so they can get the team there and then he can get out.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But he can't even do that because of the stipulations put in place by Major League Baseball, because they were so worried that he's such a snake that he's going to get his move and then
sell the team, dude.
Sell it. That's all. Like, just call Lacob and sell the team. Or just, you know what? Like, he's going to try to work here to get it to Sacramento, like, temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm okay with that because I don't think the guy's going to, at the end of the day, is going to have the finances or anything else in place in Vegas. And I feel bad for Oakland. But again, Oakland has they've enabled some of this behavior.
A little bit, for sure.
They have over the course of like 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, you should have figured out a way. And look, Sacramento did the same thing for years and years and years. They did the same exact thing. They didn't appreciate what they had. And then they got an ownership group in the Maloofs who, like, won and everyone got all excited, but then they couldn't get a deal done that they thought was good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tank Q&R, like, all these things happen, right? But at the end of the day, the best thing for Sacramento, best thing for the NBA was to get those guys out of here. Mm-hmm. You can't be owners anymore because you don't have the money to be an owner. And it's the same thing with Fisher.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? He's doing a 9-acre parcel, like, on the backside of the strip where they're not even tearing down the building for like 3 years.
It's funny you say that because the mayor of Las Vegas feels the same way.
We had entertained them down here. We have a very large complex, probably about 60 acres. We probably could cobble together more land so they could possibly have 100 acres. And it's in the historic old part of town, which is where all major interstate highways come together. We have 7 access points to it. It is in an opportunity zone. There are all these benefits. And so when they said no, I thought, this doesn't make sense. Here's a great site. They can get a great price on it because it's owned by the city. We went out to reach for them. And yet, no, they're going to go out, want to get closer to the strip with all the congestion and everything. And I thought, this does not make sense. And so why is it happening? And then I thought, well, because they really want to stay in Oakland. They want to be on the water. They have that magnificent dream, and yet they can't get it on.
Big ups to Carolyn Goodman for saying that out loud.
Yes.
she at the beginning of that was describing the original site that the A's were going to buy in Las Vegas, 60 plus acres. You heard her say they could have gotten them probably 40 more acres, so 100 acres to build this ballpark and hotel and whatever they want to do with it. They can just have their own section of the city. And they went, actually, no, we want 9 acres in the middle of the strip where they're going to tear down a building where there's not access points and they're not
going to own anything else. There's no development.
Right. The development's right. The
There is
development's
no
already
$12 billion arena like complex that they were going to build in Oakland.
Mm-mm.
All of that's
none of it.
Wild, man. This whole thing is crazy. It's crazy.
And we don't even know what the thing looks like.
They're
still
so
not
far
come up with
behind,
renderings.
Man. They probably don't have the money to pay for renderings.
Probably not.
Like, I'm surprised, again, they didn't like Mr. Bean this thing and like take one of the old renderings and like pencil across the top. Well, this is what a dome would look like on top of this. Like,
but that's the whole thing. So remember, it was going to be a retractable roof stadium. And then they went, you can't do that on 9 acres. What are you doing? So my guess is, I don't know this. My guess is the reason the renderings portion of this is taking so long is because they paid for renderings on a massive site.
Yeah.
And all of those renderings, somebody went, hey, that's not going to work on 9 freaking acres. So now they're trying to figure out, I think what you just said, they're trying to Mr. Bean it and just erase and try and modify the old renderings because they don't want to pay for new ones.
I think, you know what, Kyle? If they turn the stadium on its end, they probably could fit it on the 9-acre parcel.
Yeah.
And just have a baseball field on its side.
Mm-hmm. Like a pinball game kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, just tilt that thing. Tilt it.
What a freaking joke, man. You know what? Hey, Katrina makes a great point in the chat.
It's a complete crap.
Damn right it is.
That's right.
This is completely BS.
I couldn't agree more.
Sell the team, dude.
And that's how we're going to go out. All right. Good, bad, and ugly from the Kings loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. A couple of the rotation things that we talked about a little bit early in the show. We will dive into those next. And then one of D'Lo or Kenny will be in here. I haven't seen Kenny yet. My guess is it's D'Lo, but the handoff coming up as well on ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Center.
Boy, the Hawks gave the Clippers a run last night. In regulation, at 149, 144.
That's a good point here. What happened?
The Hawks and Clippers. That was a heck of a game. And Quinn Snyder, Kyle probably won't understand this, but Quinn Snyder's out there wearing some Sally Jesse Raphael frames. I don't know what's going on there, but like he's got the red glass frames going. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just for look. I'm not sure. Good for Quinn Snyder. I think people in the chat will probably understand that reference. Kyle will not.
I most certainly do not. By the way, everybody, a reminder, our show's podcast is now available on your, I don't want to say all podcast platforms.
It's not on all.
I don't know. I genuinely have no idea where they distribute these things, but check your favorite podcast platform for the James Ham and Kyle Madsen show, where we will upload every day, each hour of the show. We also upload the full show. We'll also upload a clip or two that we liked. So if you only listen to a little bit of the show or you miss a day, make sure to subscribe to the podcast feed so you can get caught up on all the latest.
We also we do have breaking news. The Toronto's Scotty Barnes and Atlanta's Trae Young have been named to the NBA, named by NBA Commissioner Adam Silver as injury replacements on the Eastern Conference All-Star team, replacing Joel Embiid and Julius Randle. So there you go.
Great. Good for Scotty Barnes, who's going to be all-star and face of the league.
That one clip has provided us so much joy.
Yeah, man. It was incredible.
So much joy. Yeah. Yes. Sally Jesse Raphael, followed by the Phil Donahue show. R.I.P. Jerry Springer. Excuse me. Sorry, that came out of nowhere. Scotty Barnes.
I should have cut that.
Scotty Barnes. Like he had to make sure it was Barnes.
I wish. What's his name? Darko Rizojkovic.
Oh, I think we have it right here.
I got it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Congratulations to Trae Young and Scotty Barnes, who are both Eastern Conference All-Stars. They are injury replacements for
Julius Randle, Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid. Very good.
I did just watch the NBA TV has their promo for the All-Star media availability that's coming up. And they probably need to rework it because it does have like video of like Domantas Sabonis sitting there talking and everything else. Since you snubbed the guy, you probably shouldn't use him in your promo video for the upcoming event. Just saying. Like let's be professional here.
This is completely BS.
Yeah, it is. It is completely BS. Like, I don't get that. But anyway.
That's outrageous. What happened tonight?
I'm not going to play the whole minute 5.
I love him.
Me too.
He's amazing.
Kings fall to the Cavs 136-110 last night. Let's get to some of the good, the bad, and the ugly from that performance before we get to the handoff featuring one of Damian Barling or Kenny Caraway. I think the first good thing that you have to talk about is Domantas Sabonis' 12 points, 19 boards, and 15 assists, which looks fake.
Yeah, those numbers do look fake, right? 12, 19, 15. Sabonis is just been an incredible, consistent star player, all-star player.
Yep.
Like the fact that he's not in the All-Star game is a travesty. The league needs to figure it out. And I feel bad for Sacramento Kings fans who are out there waiting for someone in the Western Conference All-Star team to get injured so their guy can get in. But that's kind of the game. And he was a monster, man. Like if you can, like we talked about, he scored 12 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then those 15 assists led to at least 30 points and probably more like 36.
Mm-hmm.
So he attributed like 48 to 50 points here. That's incredible. Like he directly had a tie to all of those points. That's crazy.
Do you want to know all the players in NBA history who have had a game of at least 12, 19, and 15?
How many?
Russell Westbrook, who's done it 3 times.
Yep.
Guy Rogers, San Francisco Warriors legend, did it once. Oscar Robertson did it 3 times.
Of course.
Wilt Chamberlain did it 7 times. Larry Bird once and Giannis once.
Okay. How many times has Sabonis done it?
Once.
Just that's the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
12, 19, and 15 is hard to do, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, just think if it would have been like a 20, 20, and 15. That's that's just wild. So
insane.
Right.
Let's see. Domantas Sabonis is only the second player to ever have that stat line and lose. Oof.
Oy vey, everybody.
Wilt Chamberlain also lost on March 19th, 1968.
Okay.
If anybody cared. It's so funny looking up Domantas Sabonis stats because it oftentimes puts Wilt Chamberlain front and center.
It's just him and Wilt like half the time.
listen to these stat lines. 22, 27, and 19, 26, 24, and 15, 15, 22, and 17, 22, 25, and 21,
Oh,
19, 27, and 16, 35, 24, and 15, and 31, 21, and 15.
that's incredible.
Insane. Insanely dominant.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
back to it.
Definitely back to it. I think the other good things from this game, Harrison Barnes showed up again. Like he's found himself. He's worked his way back and he's let his voice be heard that he needs to be a bigger part of what's happening. 6 of 10 from 3, 22 points. I think in this we've talked about Malik Monk a lot today, but you just keep needing more Malik Monk when he's on this kind of tear. You just want to let him go.
Yeah,
just do your thing, man.
Yep. Their most important player. I would love to see him do that more. With Harrison Barnes, I'm going to nitpick a little bit. It's great to see the shooting numbers.
Yeah, but he's got to do more.
He has to, and like I said, we talked about this so many times with him. It's not that I would say draw up some plays for him early just to get him engaged. So maybe you get a couple assists and 5-6 rebounds from him. But shooting is great, but he's still not engaged in these other parts of the game. And that's a little bit of a problem for me if I'm nitpicking.
No, I totally agree.
But the fact he's putting shots up, he's contributing in some way, which is more than he could say early in the year.
You know, I'd say the last thing from the good side of the good, the bad, and the ugly is a 5-2 trip is incredible.
Yep.
That is really, really good. It doesn't matter who you're playing to go 5-2 on a long 7-game road trip, longest road trip of the year. That's tremendous. And I'm willing to give him a pass on the final game as just like it all caught up to him.
Yeah, it caught up to him, and the Cavs are just good. Like, they didn't lose to a bad team last night. I didn't watch the Kings and go, wow, this is a huge indictment on their attitude as a team or anything. Like, no, they were close, and then the Cavs pulled away late, and the score looked more lopsided than the game was as a whole, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And their other loss was a 9-point loss in Miami that was there for the taking against a Miami team that was trying not to lose its 8th game in a row.
Yeah.
That team was in the finals last year. So I think if I told you before this road trip through Golden State, Dallas, Memphis, Miami, Indiana, Chicago, and Cleveland, if I had said, I'll give you 5-2, I think you would have taken it.
Oh, heck yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
A overall very successful trip, I thought.
I thought so too.
What about the bad stuff?
Shot distribution. I don't like Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis taking 9 shots each. That needs to change. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and that's what I get. I get that this is like a democratic offense, right?
Yes.
Like it's going to be everybody gets. I would way rather, I think, moving forward, and this may not happen this year because it's kind of a stark change, but into next year, I would love to see a very clear pecking order of like De'Aaron Fox, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. Those are the dudes. Like, sorry, Kevin, sorry, Harrison. You might only get 7 shots some nights. You might get 10 here and there. But these are the guys who are going to be the primary scorers of the basketball on a night in, night out basis. Again, maybe there's the odd game where Herter's just red hot or Sabonis gets in foul trouble or whatever. But that's what I would like to see moving forward, because if the Kings are going to be a title contender, it's going to be on the back of those 3 guys.
Well, that's why I will continue to say, Kyle, that if you're going to like really take the next step with this team, it hurts. It's a Band-Aid that you got to rip off.
Mm-hmm.
The players that you talked about, the Kevin Herters and the Harrison Barnes of the world, they need to be swapped out for pieces that make more sense to support the 3.
Yeah.
So they have to be the long athletic defender. It's got to be a true, 3-and-D shooting guard alongside of De'Aaron that can take some of the slack off De'Aaron. Like, those are things you want these pieces. It's nice to have a guy like Kevin Herter who can get you 3 or 4 assists, who can get you 5 or 6 rebounds in a game and hit a bunch of threes. But it's also, there is some, it's easier for a team to allow 3 players to step up and ascend if, like, say, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is at the 2 guard, or name that 3-and-D guy at the 3. So yeah, I think that's where the next version of this team has to go, which is it's tough, but
no, I'm right there with you, man. That's pretty clear to me what the Kings taking the next step is going to look like. It's going to be more focus on those 3 guys. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but more of the offensive focus on those three guys. There just can't be a night where Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis are combining to take 18 shots.
Yeah, and then of course you get the fourth guy. The fourth guy is going to be Malik Monk, right? That's how this thing has to be built.
Yep.
But you need the other players to, and that's why maybe Kyle Kuzma doesn't make sense. That's why maybe Jeremy Grant doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Maybe you need a much more defensive-minded but three-point shooting version of those guys, and it's not easy to find.
Yeah, no, it's because that's frankly what every team is looking for.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's why we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, but that's why playing Kessler Edwards makes so much sense.
Oh, totally.
Because maybe he's that dude.
Well, and I would say that even if he's not that dude, he's giving you the roadmap to the dude you need. You just need that, but a more seasoned veteran version that can actually be reliable on a night in and night basis to shut down somebody defensively, but also provide this offense that is more like
complementary offense.
Yeah. Where you're standing in the corner shooting threes, and sometimes you get a layup here or there. Sometimes you get a back cut. Sometimes you get, a transition bucket. But realistically, if you shot more than 8 or 9 times in a game, that's like you've kind of gone outside of who you are as a player, and that's okay. The Kings need to get to that point, though. Aaron
Gordon is the name that just came to mind when you were describing all that, and I think Aaron Gordon's a really high level version of it.
Yeah,
but that kind of when you watch the Nuggets, it's very clear what Aaron Gordon's role is.
No, totally,
and it's not as a primary scorer.
But look at the Nuggets are who you should be in a lot of ways, like building your modeling your team after.
Yeah.
While they might be different positions, or you're getting more productivity out of Fox versus Murray. You can see where Keegan Murray could become a Michael Porter Jr. type player. You just need the Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and the Aaron Gordon versions to go with them.
Aaron Gordon is 9.9 shots a night, and I'm guessing KCP is probably around the same thing.
Yes, maybe a little bit less.
Maybe let's see. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I did not realize he's 6'5". I thought he was a 6'3" guy. Kentavious called 8 shots a night.
Yeah. Really strong defender.
18 shots between those two guys is, I think, where the sweet spot is.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What else you got?
Let's see. Get to the line. The Kings need to figure out how to get to the free throw line. They also need more than one rebound each or one combined rebound from their two forwards, Keegan Murray and Harrison Barnes. I'm going to give Keegan Murray a little bit of a break because Keegan Murray was defending Donovan Mitchell on the perimeter a lot, and it's not easy to turn from there and go grab a rebound. Let's see what else we got. Fox settled. He needs to go get inside more, even against a long athletic team, and get to the line.
He's a good enough finisher that I would like to see him not worry so much about shot blockers. Like he's fast enough and a crafty enough finisher and a good enough shot maker that shouldn't deter him from being a force inside.
There was even a moment in last night's game where he had taken Donovan Mitchell off the dribble, got to the basket, had Donovan on his back. All he had to do is bump back and hit the layup and would have got the and one with no question. And he just went up for a real quick layup because he was worried about the shot blocker.
Yeah.
And those are things where you're like, okay, you need to get to the line.
It's bizarre that was a problem last night and was clearly not a problem the first time they played Cleveland.
No. Well,
very strange.
The first time they played Cleveland, Jared Allen got in foul trouble like super quick and was out of the game. Like Sabonis just absolutely worked him over.
Right.
So let's get to the ugly. The Kings are still trying to figure out how to defend the three ball. I'm not sure what's going on there, but like they just aren't defending the three at all in this game. And I thought they were a step slow.
So I think that's part of it for sure. Where are they at on the season in 3-point defense?
That's a good question. They're doing much better as far as like hitting their shots. They're at 71%.
Ooh.
70.
They are
37.1%.
29th in 3-point defense.
Yeah.
Team shooting 39.5% against them.
That's wild.
That is crazy.
That is wild. And
on
everyone
35 attempts a game.
Everyone wants to talk about, like whether Sabonis is limited defensively. their interior defense is perfectly fine. They're allowing they're 12th in the league in 2-point field goal. 13th in the league and 2-point field goal percentage against. Yeah, that 29.5 stands out. That's definitely a design. That's by design. So they may need to tweak that during the All-Star break.
Yeah, it's just teams are too good now and too skilled now to just say. I mean, Orlando, that double overtime win against the Magic, we went into it going, dude, let Orlando shoot it. And then they went 7 of 10 in the first quarter.
There was like 3 games that week where like, let them shoot it. They're like, hell yeah, we'll shoot it.
Yeah, and like NBA players are just too good now that even
They
that
are.
30% 3-point shooter, if that guy is wide open, he's going to knock him down. So yeah, I think that's a defensive adjustment they have to make, because that's just not a good way to go through life.
Well, and I'd also tell you that there are things in the league like self-fulfilling prophecies, right? You go up against a team who is known to be a bad 3-point defensive team. And so you come into the game knowing that you're going to get open looks and you need to hit them. And a lot of times teams who come in with that mindset that I'm going to get a bunch of open looks from 3, they end up hitting their 3s. And, so it's possible that the Kings are horrible defensively, but it's also possible that guys come in with a little bit of extra confidence because that's the MO of the team you're facing. And so you gotta shake that. You got to figure out a way to not allow teams to shoot that kind of percentage from 3. That's crazy. 39.5. They almost give up 40% from the field on 3-point shots.
Okay, so in the first half of the year, not necessarily the first half, before the turn of the calendar,
okay,
in 31 games, teams were shooting 37.4% from 3 against the Kings. They finished at Memphis. That was the game that dominated the Grizzlies, 123-92. And Memphis went 12 of 40. That's 30%. Then they went, this is 3-point percentage allowed, 35, and I'm going to round up or down. 35, 57, 35, 54, 38, 42, 43, 47, 46, 39.
You got a problem.
That's really bad.
You got a problem, Kyle.
Oh my God.
But I think if you were to ask the coaching staff, which I probably will ask them this question.
Yeah, please
tomorrow, do. If you're going to ask them, they're going to say, well, but we're trying, we have to take away something. And because of their limit, because they don't have a natural shot blocker, because they don't have like excellent defenders, like natural defenders, they're trying to shrink in and take away the easy buckets, and they're giving up more looks from the outside.
Since the calendar turned, teams in, how many games is this? 18. In 18 games, opponents are shooting 42.6% from beyond the arc against the Kings.
That's not good.
That is insane.
That's how you lose.
Every team turns into prime Steph Curry against the Warriors or against the Kings.
Yeah.
And the Warriors. But yikes, dude.
That is a
brutal number.
That is a wild stat.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing stat.
Oh.
So they don't defend the 3 ball. And then the other ugly thing, like, I know I get a rap here for not liking JaVale McGee, and there are games where I'm perfectly fine with JaVale McGee.
I balance it out because I love JaVale McGee.
I know so many people do love JaVale McGee, right? And I get it, but a game like last night, you're just sitting there watching, and you know how many people hit my timeline and said, "Hey, why is Alex Len not playing?" And I don't have an answer for you. Like, dude, I thought Alex Len was impactful when he was in the game for that like 7-game stretch. And then they go away from him. And I get it. Like, you wanted to give JaVale some minutes on his birthday and stuff like that. But
what?
But like, I'm confused. Like, we talked about this. If you gave JaVale McGee minutes against every team, hit every one of his former teams, then he's playing it almost every single night.
Dude, if that's the impetus behind who's playing the backup 5 for the Kings,
yeah,
what the hell are we doing here? It's his birthday. Oh, it's his former team. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I'm confused, man.
And this is not. I don't want to.
Why do you hate JaVale McGee?
Damian Barling's here.
I don't hate JaVale McGee.
Yes, you do.
I
It's a
don't
handoff.
hate JaVale McGee.
No, just say you hate JaVale
I
McGee.
don't hate JaVale McGee.
Yes, you
Damian
do.
Barling coming up at noon. No Kenny today?
No Kenny today.
Okay, so just Damian coming up at noon. I don't think anybody
Still D'Lo and Casey. It's always D'Lo and
Kenny.
Casey.
It's D'Lo and Kenny.
Oh, my mistake. That's
Thank
correct.
you. Yeah, D'Lo and Kenny this week.
Yeah.
Also catch them on KSFM 37. Anyways, it's not hating JaVale McGee, but like by any stretch. In fact, he's one of my favorite players ever. But when you watch him in a game like last night, and then you watch Alex Len play, it's not like, oh man, that's the reason they lost. It's not anything like that. It's just wondering, is you're trying to maximize the quality of the Kings rotations. It's just pretty clear to me that Alex Len is just the more productive of the two players. And it's confusing when Len plays and he's good and he's productive. And then, and now here's 2 weeks of JaVale.
Yeah, most of what Mike does to me is confusing. I don't understand what Mike. I don't understand what he does with Chris Duarte and with Kessler Edwards. I don't understand what he does with Alex Len and JaVale McGee. I have no idea.
I don't either.
Like you said, that's not a direct reason as to why they're winning or losing games.
No,
but no, I don't understand it either.
And I think that's part of why the JaVale thing is the JaVale Alex Len thing stands out so much, is what you just said. It's not like this is one thing. It is a season long. And for a while, and honestly, even still to this point a little bit, you're going, hey, you're trying to figure out who your best 8 dudes are for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to figure out what lineups work and what lineups don't. It's just like on February 5th, it's just really clear who your best, third, I guess, technically center, if Trey Lyles is going to be your small ball 5, your best backup center, quote unquote, is. And I think it's really clear in the fact that they continue that Mike Brown continues to mess with the rotations, and now Davion's in the lineup. Now he's not. And now it's Alex Lano, and now it's JaVale McGee, and now it's Chris Duarte, and now it's not. It just, I think that there's some frustration setting in, especially as the team continues to kind of sit around where it was last year.
Well, I would say too, like if your problem is defense, I hate JaVale McGee doesn't help you defensively at all.
Not anymore.
No, like, he got beat to the basket by a couple of guys last night where you're like, what has happened? And he's not blocking shots at all. And sure, he grabbed some rebounds, but I kind of liken it to like the Malik Monk versus like Trey Lyles. Like Malik Monk scores 13 points, and you remember every single one of those baskets.
Mm-hmm.
It was wild. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Trey Lyles over here was 16, but you don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, he hit some threes, right? What? Wait, he had 16 points? And that's where Alex Len goes out there, and he doesn't do anything spectacular, but he doesn't do anything wrong. He's tall. He stands tall. He plays goalie. He may not have the blocks, but he also is really good defensively at the rim. And sure, can he defend the 3? No, but neither one of those guys can defend the 3. So I'm just confused. Like, I get it. JaVale is a lot more fun to watch, but that's not what winning is usually about. Winning is usually about like having players that go in and play their role to a high degree and don't make mistakes. And that's why I'm always confused by it.
I agree.
You also hate JaVale.
I don't hate JaVale.
I don't know what that man
don't
did
hate
to you.
JaVale.
I don't know what that man ever did to you.
Just
every time JaVale does something on the floor, I go, oh, great. There's 12 minutes of James tomorrow. 12 minutes of James going in on JaVale McGee. Great.
That's
all
funny.
because he dribbled the ball off his foot, picked it up, turned around, and shot a 3. Which one of us hasn't done that?
She did that last night, right?
He did.
He did.
No. In fairness, the shot clock was winding down.
Was it winding down because of him? Probably.
The context isn't important.
I think it's when I was in Hawaii. I checked my phone real quick. I just checked the box score because I wasn't back at the hotel yet. I just looked at the box score, and the first thing I see on Gamecast is JaVale McGee shot a 3 with like 17 seconds left on the shot clock. I screenshot it and sent it to James. I'm like, what the hell's going on? What's happening in this game?
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
No, JaVale's fine. JaVale's fine. It's just, he has according to Basketball Reference, his net rating this year is 0. It's just a even
straight up.
Alex Len's a +9.
Yeah.
way better offensively, a little better defense, or
That's
a little worse
plus 9
defensively.
per 100
per 100
possessions. So like
Yeah.
basically plus 9 per game.
Yeah.
It's not just overall he's a plus 9.
And maybe when they get to the playoffs, maybe it'll be Alex Len. But the fact that we're in February and we're still experimenting with the big man rotation is a little worrisome to me.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm with you, Kyle.
Anyways. Did you see drunk Kyle Shanahan last night, Damien?
That was tremendous.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was feeling it.
I don't have a problem with it.
It's good stuff.
I'm kind of here for it, honestly.
I mean, that's kind of what media night has become now, right? Just kind of a circus of silliness. It sounds like there were some good questions asked last night, but for the most part, it's just silliness.
Yeah. I did think the thing that got buried in the answer that we played about him talking to Michael Robinson, and he's talking about when he said Brock Purdy was the best quarterback in training camp during Purdy's rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
And he said in there, I said it out of frustration, meaning like he was frustrated with how Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance are both playing.
Mm-hmm.
And that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, no,
Even
absolutely.
if it was a drunk mind speaking a sober heart.
Well, I think sometimes when people are drunk is when they're the most honest.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Ask Kyle Shanahan all of your questions today.
Yeah, he very well may tell you anything at this point.
So, all right. Damian Barling coming up next.
Show's over?
Yeah,
because I just want to tell you, I hate the positioning of your microphone, and I can't describe like.
Should I do this?
Like hate's just not strong enough of a word. See, now I can see you. No, yeah, because I
my
can
bad,
see
dude.
you.
I just get fired up and I start talking to James. And
But
then...
you have to remember, you're also a radio show that is broadcast out there visually to the world, and I don't want this Kyle
You're
Madsen.
welcome, viewer.
Like, no,
this is.
Look at that.
And in my defense, I can't see you. He can see you from there. I can't.
Oh, that's funny.
I can't see you.
Well, the good news is starting next week, per sources, I'll be sitting in there. So
sources close to
sources close to the engineers.
Very good.
So
very good. Well, they're the only people in the whole building that really matter. So
correct.
That's fine.
Correct.
That's
Seth,
fine.
Jonathan, you guys are the best.
Yep.
D'Lo and Kenny coming up next on ESPN 13.